Well, good day, viewers. Today's problem is a 2011 F150. It's a crew cab limited, and as you can see, the gear shift indicator does not indicate park. It indicates reverse, neutral, drive, M, 2, 1, reverse, but park. It goes into park. And the other problem is the key won't come out of the ignition. And I suspect because the key won't turn, it's probably not energizing the brake transmission shift interlock. The seat's going back and forth as I'm playing with the ignition key. It's got easy exit. So we're going to throw the scanner on and see what kind of codes it's generating. Okay, let's try scanning this thing. Should auto ID. I have the key on and a clean battery charger on it. The other issue, he says, is since this occurred, the battery goes dead overnight. Well, I don't think the ignition is shutting off correctly. Key on, engine off. Let's do a network code scan and see what codes it has to report. Nothing in the engine trans. Low battery voltage, well, that stands to reason. Lost communication with ECM, PCM. Battery voltage circuit, key in switch circuit short to ground. Hazard switch. Run start control circuit short to ground or open. Fuel pump primary. Now this probably got an aftermarket car starter in it, so some of these codes could be related to that. Well, I've got a record of these, so I'm going to do a network code clear. A lot of low voltage codes caused by the battery going dead. Then we're going to go into the trans data and have a look at the gear shift. "22 modules. Switch the ignition off. I'll turn it off and back on. Let's go into the transmission and see data. Well, let's look for codes first of all, just to be sure. Let's do a key on engine off self-test. Wow, that cooling fan's pretty loud. No codes. Data. Transmission data. Come on, you can do it. Gear in gear. Okay. I'm going to try that again with a custom data list. Refresh rate is a little too slow with all these data parameters being recorded. Deselect all. Commanded gear. Transmission range. Transmission range sensor input. You'd think if it wasn't in park it wouldn't start, but it starts just fine. Let's graph these. Transmission range. Okay, I'm going to go through the gears again. reverse, neutral, drive, M, second, first, second, M, drive, neutral, reverse, park. So it's acting just like the park indicator in the dash is burnt out, because it's showing park here, and you would think if there was a problem with the gear shift range sensor. I'll look at the instrument cluster data. So there's no codes in the instrument cluster. Let's go into data, see what it says. May not support all PIDs. Park brake applied lamp. High beam indicator. Where's the transmission data? Speedometer pointer, warning lamp, traction, odometer, temperature gauge pointer, oil pressure gauge, malfunction light, fuel sender, transmission system fault, track, tire, tack, safety belt warning light, park brake applied light, gear display. Here it says unknown invalid. Interesting. Well, I'm going to shift this through the gears. So we're in park. There's reverse. There's neutral. Drive. M. Second. First. Second, M, drive, neutral, reverse, and back to park with no indicator. So when it's in park, it actually shows unknown, but every other. Let me pause this for a second. So there's park, unknown, reverse, neutral, drive, manual, second, first, second, well, I'm going to do a little research. So I found a case on Identifix, which basically is similar. The key will not turn completely off to allow the key to be removed. There is also a battery drain issue with the white lights of the cluster are staying lit. Doesn't mention anything about the gear shift indicator not indicating park. And it says, use the attached replacement procedure to access the shifter lever connector. Perform the attached connector jump test to see if the dash lights shut off. If the lights do not shut off, then either the black-white wire ground wire to the shifter or the green-white wire from the shifter to the instrument cluster is damaged. So there's a wiring diagram here. Let's blow this up a little bit. And it shows the floor shifter having a switch that indicates when it's in park. And that, I wonder if that's why ignition lock. So that's grounded, and then it's grounded to this wire, I assume in park, range in park. Well, let's have a look inside that column, or inside that floor shifter. So you can just pry the top cup holder and coin container off the top of this console. Here is the connector. It's clipped down underneath here. Now the wire colors on this side that go to the shifter don't match the wire colors on the other side. So the two wires in question are the green wire here and the black and white wire. So I'm going to monitor the voltage. Black and white wire is ground. Black and white wire is ground, and the green wire is coming from the instrument cluster, and it's park detect. So I'm going to read the voltage on the green wire when I put it in park. So I'm back pinning the third wire over, which is the green wire, in pin 3, which is transmission park detect, and I'm showing 12.2 volts, and if I move the shifter nothing happens. So I'm going to try grounding this wire, simulating the ground. I expect that that's supposed to be grounded in park. Let's check the voltage on the black white wire, pin 5. It should be 0. So with that wire grounded, the park indicates park, but the key still doesn't come out of the ignition. But the indicator works now. So what's going on with the key here? That's strange. If I take that ground off, the park indicator goes out. So if I disconnect the connector and jump pin 3 to 5, the key comes out. So I suspect that this switch is maintaining this circuit, which is pin 2. So it needs a shifter anyways, because the switch in the shifter has failed. So monitoring the voltage on the white wire, which is actually orange on this side of the connector, it's 0 all the time, regardless of whether or not it's in park. So that switch has definitely failed. We'll price out the shifter from the dealer. So I did some research this morning and I found out that the shift lever is only sold from Ford as an assembly. That little switch, which is these 3 wires going up here, is actually inside the shifter, and it's available from Dorman. I'll put a part number in the description, or I'll show you that when I get it. I've ordered it, but I wanted to see what was involved in taking this shifter apart. Apparently you can do it without taking the entire shifter out of the truck. So I'm going to try and take this thing apart. So there's 4 little tabs on the side. Pop these tabs, and there's the actual switch right there. It's just held in with a little clip by the looks of it, and the wiring harness runs down in here. So these are the 3 wires here. I used a little hook like this to pull up on these clips. I don't see how this knob comes off, but I don't think we need to take it off. I think we got access to this switch right now. I can see has that switch popped out of place? Looks like it's popped out of place. So as you can see, I pushed the switch back down, and now you can see the lever is working it again. So the switch had actually popped out of place. How that would pop out of place, I don't know. Let's try it now. Where's the key? Here's the key. Put the key in the ignition. Park is indicated. Come on, focus. So there's nothing wrong with that switch. It just popped out of place. Huh. Interesting. So I think I see the root cause of the problem. Plastic part of the shifter is broken. That rolls over these detents to give the individual shifter position, and it caught the wires and flipped the switch up when it was put back into park, because the little switch was out of place. So this shifter is actually broken, but I'm going to take this piece of plastic out of here like that, because that detent is there. It still has the shift detent, so that plastic caught the wires, pushed the switch up like so. So it doesn't need a switch, it just needs to be located in the right spot. Huh. Wonder if we can tie it there somehow. How important is this roller? It gives the shifter that individual click. Well, we'll see if I can work something out. So I removed that piece of return spring, which is not doing anything anyways. Or the little spring, I dropped it down inside the console, unfortunately, though. So I drilled a hole here and I pulled the wires down and put a tie wrap around the wires. I'm going to cut that off, and I'm going to try the shifter now. Well, it still feels like it's got the detents in the proper spot because of the probably rooster comb inside the transmission. You can see the shift indicators working. So we're going to leave it like that. You got to put the transmission into a lower gear so that you can get the cover back on the console. I'm going to see if I can find that piece of spring that fell down inside here. It went down inside the transmission, or inside this housing here. It fell down in here. Oh well. So the dash trim just snaps all back on, and step on the brake. Oh, I got to put the key in. Well, that's it for now. We're going to leave it like that. I don't think that second detent in here is that critical. It seems to be working just fine without it. There's definitely a detent available in each spot because of what's in the transmission. So that's it for now. No parts required. Imagine that.